Something is happening. You can feel it. Everywhere you look, a new league is being born. Basketball, volleyball, track. Women's sports are multiplying like they're done waiting for permission. For years, people said there wasn't enough interest, not enough talent, not enough fans. Now, there's so much energy, it's spilling over. The WNBA is thriving. Unrivaled is rewriting the rules, and volleyball is finally getting its spotlight with MLV and Athletes Unlimited. Even track and field is starting to flirt with league life. So this is the moment we've dreamed of, but it's also where the questions start. Can we grow this fast and keep it sustainable? Can we protect the players from burnout, from overexposure, from being stretched too thin? Can the industry finally match the energy the fans have been given for years? That's what I'm thinking about today, y'all. How growth and balance have to coexist. Because yes, we're witnessing a boom, but to make it last, we've got to build the foundation while the fireworks are still going off. Welcome to Miss Main Event, where women's sports aren't a side story, they're the story. I'm Tasha Pierce. What we're watching in women's sports right now is something we have never seen before. It feels like every time we blink, a new league is forming. In basketball alone, we have the WNBA, we've got Unrivaled, we've got Athletes Unlimited, Upshot, Exalt, and on top of that, we have the Project B trying to plant a flag in the basketball space. And in track and field, we saw Grand Slam track, Athlos, and now even USA Track and Field saying they want to move toward a league model. And volleyball is going through its own growth spurt with MLV, Major League Volleyball, and Athletes Unlimited. And they've got a fan base that's ready for more. On one hand, this is everything many of us have waited for. More access, more opportunity, more visibility, more athletes getting paid. But if I'm honest, and I try to be honest, a tiny part of me wants to feel cautious. Not negative, just hyper aware. Growth can be beautiful, but it can also come with dangers when the boom hits all at once. So here are the things I find myself wondering about. Number one, are we heading towards oversaturation? So I love a thriving sports ecosystem. I love the idea of women not having to fight over a handful of roster spots or a couple of dollars, or they might have to go overseas just to pay bills. I love the idea of them not having to deal with that. But with so many leagues popping up at the same time, I worry about the audience's stamina. Not because fans don't care, we know the fans care, but because sports need rhythm. They need tradition. They need time to breathe. A new league takes time to build trust, takes time to build loyalty. And if 5 of them pop up at the same time, they're all going to be fighting for attention in the same crowded moment. Number 2, what happens to the talent pool? And this is a big one because right now there are enough elite athletes to fill multiple leagues. But let's be real, depth matters. When you get to the end of the bench, that person matters. Development matters. So if players are spread too thin across too many leagues, the product can get uneven. And uneven quality is how leagues die. That's how leagues lose fans. In basketball, the WNBA already has one of the most competitive talent bottlenecks in pro sports. And adding Unrivaled, Upshot, Exalt, And whatever Project B ends up being can either create new career paths or drain talent into 4 different directions. In track and field, it's even trickier. Those athletes are already juggling heavy training loads, world championships, Olympic cycles, endorsements, now league formats, which again, I think track and field needs the league format. But are we going to grow too much too soon? Number 3, this is huge. What does this mean for athlete health? Overuse injuries are real, and women already deal with elevated risks in certain sports. Also, we have elevated risks for certain injuries. So if an athlete plays a WNBA season, then joins Unrivaled, then drops into Project B, the schedule starts to look like a treadmill. There's not a pathway to longevity. And I know that that is unlikely to happen, that someone would try to play all 3. But let's just think hypothetically. Even playing 2, we noticed an uptick of injuries in the WNBA in 2025. Track is even rougher. You can't sprint and jump and throw at top level year-round without paying a price. They find themselves at times peaking too soon. They don't want to peak before the meets that count, the world championships and or the Olympics. And then volleyball players face repetitive stress. And anyone who has followed that sport for any amount of time knows how taxing it can be on their shoulders, on their knees, on their backs. So yes, I'm excited for more opportunities, but I never want those opportunities to come at the cost of the athletes that we love themselves. 4, what does this kind of growth do to fan culture? Let's be real, y'all. Bigger visibility means bigger fan bases, and bigger fan bases come with bigger problems. Remember when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA? The fan culture shifted overnight. New fans arrived with passion. Some of them arrived with hostility. We saw these players become targets. We saw media coverage tilt in very strange directions, y'all. We saw narratives get weaponized. Sports should bring people together, but they also bring in trolls. They bring in bad actors. They bring in people who want chaos more than community. As women's sports get more and more mainstream attention, they're going to continue to inherit the same toxicity that runs through men's sports. I was just watching the other night, can't even remember which athlete, I think it was Giannis. Somebody said something to him. They were sitting on the front row. Big money that they spent on these tickets. Somebody said something to him that got that person kicked out. Now, do we remember when Alicia Gray was being heckled relentlessly by some fan in the Indiana-Atlanta playoff series? And she had that person removed, and somehow that person was allowed to return. It's because when the women athletes are abused, people think that women are just being emotional. But they understood when Giannis felt like he had been attacked enough to have this person removed, and you ain't see that person come back. But anywho, women's sports are going to inherit that same toxicity that the men get. Now, that's not a reason for us to slow down, but it is a reason to prepare. And let me tell you, the WNBA was woefully unprepared for what came into the league with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. They themselves, the WNBA, leaned heavily into the Caitlin Clark narrative. And look, I understand Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. There were generational talents before Caitlin Clark. And the WNBA did not do enough to market those people. So now they decide we're going all in on Caitlin Clark. And that brought the worst out of these fan bases. Not just Caitlin's fan base. Now, Caitlin's fan base, some of these people who call themselves her fans, they were very abusive, and they did often resort to misogyny, homophobia, and racism. They often did do that. But some of y'all Angel Reese fans are delusional as well. You know, I have seen stuff from both sides that is the ugliest that I have seen from basketball fans. So while we are all pointing fingers, please point at yourselves, some of you. Because a lot of people are finding themselves being turned off by the behaviors of some of these fan bases. Rant over. Let's get to question number 5. Question number 5, what is the real question? The real question is not whether we should grow. Growth is good. Growth was long overdue. The question is how we grow. We need these leagues to coordinate with one another. Or if they're not going to coordinate with one another, are they going to sprint to market first? Are they building sustainable models, or are they banking on hype? Are the athletes being asked to carry too much? Are fans being pulled in too many directions? Are we creating a system that will last, or a moment that will pass? These are the questions I need answers to. And y'all, I brought this whole thing up, but I ain't got all the answers. So here is where I land. I am thrilled. I am hopeful. I am rooting for every league that gives women more opportunities to shine. But I also believe we need to be honest about the risks. Momentum can lift the sport, or it can overwhelm it. We are building something powerful in women's sports, something that should have existed decades ago. Or I wish it would have happened in my prime, where I would have been able to take advantage of this boom. But we need to do this with intention, because if we do this with intention, these leagues can coexist the way the WNBA and Unrivaled are starting to. One is the long season, one is the shorter creative season, one is the structure, one is the innovation. Basketball has figured out both can succeed. Volleyball could follow that path. Track might too. The boom is beautiful. Now we have to make sure it becomes a foundation instead of just a trend. Women's sports deserve to grow. Lord knows they do. And they deserve to grow in a way that protects the players, respects the fans, and builds a future that is bigger than any one league. The shift is happening, y'all. Women's sports are not whispering for attention anymore. They are commanding it. And with every new league, every broadcast deal, every sold-out crowd, that shift gets a little louder. But if there's one thing I hope we all take from this conversation, it's that growth isn't just about what's new. It's about what lasts. It's about giving athletes the space to thrive, not just the spotlight. It's about making sure the foundation catches up to the fireworks. Because this boom is real. And if we do it right, it becomes the baseline, not the peak. Thank you for listening to Miss Main Event today. And if you believe in this movement, share the episode, follow the show, keep the conversation going. Women's sports are here, y'all. And the main event is just getting started. Peace.